Stuart, how are you feeling after that victory and the manner in which you guys delivered it?
Chuffed to bits. We worked incredibly hard for large parts of that game to get the good outcomes. We got ourselves into good positions and had a clinical edge at times, and then we had to absorb a lot of pressure through England, and credit to them for that. They were outstanding at times, but we stuck to our systems. We stuck to what works best for us, and thankfully we've came out with a perfect scoreline for us.
You can't have planned to have to absorb as much pressure as you did. What did it say about the defence and the fact that you were able to keep going for so long with the amount of ball that they had?
I think the biggest work on that we've had is we've been able to absorb pressure for a long time, but it's now flipping it on its head and applying pressure at the same time. I think we've done exactly that. I don't think they got through multi-phase very often, and we managed to stand firm. I don't think there was very many defensive penalties against us, so that's something that we'll be chuffed to bits from. But again, it's a challenge now to back it up next week.
What's just about the big moment in the second half, then the two cross-field kicks? Was it something that was planned? Is it something that you had identified that you could get at England that way?
I think it was just kind of playing heads up rugby. Our set piece starter didn't quite go to plan, and we just managed to adapt on the move and get on with it. And it was two absolutely perfect kicks from Finn, and it led to a line bend on one end and then a penalty try on the other wing. So that was spot on for us. So it's something that Finn likes to try and do with the wingers, make sure that we're flat in position, keep everybody guessing, and execute it to perfection.
He seems to be very adept at slowing down their ball throughout. I mean, when their forwards were on the front foot, they didn't really get the amount of points that their possession merited. Can you talk us through your thoughts on the back row?
Yeah, absolutely outstanding. I think for us, we like to spend as much time in the tackle as we possibly can. I think as a forward pack on the whole, they're absolutely outstanding. Didn't let England gather much momentum. Got in positions to win jackal turnovers, and that's exactly what we're about. I think for us now is the challenge of seeing what Wales are going to come up against us, and hopefully we can do the exact same.
Stuart, could you please talk a little bit about the first try scored by Ben White? That you mentioned that the second try, the start of play didn't go to plan. First try, it seemed like the start of play really did go to plan.
Maybe, I don't know. We just played a lot of heads up rugby. Darcy hit a lovely line off me. I managed to get through. Great feat against Marchant, and then the offload, and Benny picked up an outstanding support line to dive over for his first, which was absolute quality. I think we planned to get ourselves into good positions, and thankfully we managed to execute it.
Stuart, what was the message behind the posts when Marcus Smith kicked England 17-10 ahead?
Just to stay in the moment. I think for us, we were in a position that we, for the first time, we backed up error on error, which was a bit frustrating. Gave them easy field position, easy avenues into the game, and fair play to them that they managed to work up a score. But for us, that was all stuff that we can control, and that was just a message to stay in every moment and make sure that we maximise everything that we do. And I thought and felt we regrouped really well.
Stuart, can you just take a second to talk about Darcy's performance today?
Quality. He's a little pocket rocket. Seems to get everywhere. He's a brave little bugger, and I think to go in for that last turnover and get it was absolutely outstanding. And again, just kind of that tackle and turnover. Managed to thank the forwards for digging in for four minutes or whatever it was in the scrums. So absolutely outstanding performance from the little fella, and hopefully next week he'll back it up.
Gregor, take us inside the coach's box for that last, what seemed like forever, with all those reset scrums. How were you feeling? What was the emotion like when it came loose and Stuart was able to kick it dead for the win?
Yeah, I think the heart rates of all of us were the highest they'd been throughout the whole game. There was an element of what would happen when the ball comes out of the scrum, or would the referee penalise one team or another. I think one of the scrums we thought we were going to get the penalty, and then on another scrum we thought England might get the penalty. But I'm glad in a way that it wasn't decided by a scrum decision, and we had to defend, and fortunately got the ball back and a turnover. It was always going to be difficult for a team with that weather to to try and to get a try or force a penalty. But I'm just really proud of the efforts first at the scrum, and then obviously in the phase defence.
Would it be fair to say that it wasn't a perfect performance, and if you do agree with that, what does that say about the fact that they managed to eke out a victory in those circumstances?
Yeah, it was far from perfect, and I think the weather's got something to play in that when it's so wet. But we knew we were going to be playing into the wind in the first half, and we had to absorb a lot of phase defence or phase attack from England. We were in our half for the majority of that time, and we weren't able to really build phase upon phase through our errors at times. I think 3 line-out plays were either didn't win the ball straight away, or we lost the ball on first phase. But it's great to see a play executed really well through the team, but especially Darcy and Ben White with his support line. So yeah, we felt we hadn't fired a huge amount of shots in the first half, but we were still leading, and we knew second half with a slight advantage of the wind. But having said that, our probably third quarter was the poorest part of our game for us, and we were all thankful and obviously proud of how we played in that final quarter, which was telling.
It's a good run that you're on in this fixture over the last few years. Is it just as sweet as it was when you're ending winning runs for England, winning at Twickenham for the first time in 38 years? Does this feel just as good?
Oh, 100%. I think in 2018 it was such a good game and such a positive atmosphere, and obviously it's been a long while since we'd won, and some of the tries we scored during the game were amazing to watch. But today obviously felt like one of huge effort, could have gone either way. I felt England played really well today. They're a strong side, as we know. So to actually come out the end of a real tight tussle makes up for the arm wrestle we had with them 2 years ago. And just to hear and feel that atmosphere was amazing. We've missed crowds at this fixture last year, so to have them back and in full voice was special.
Gregor, just to sort of follow on to that answer, as you said, this team keeps making history. I think it's the first time Scotland have retained the Calcutta Cup since you were 10 years of age. Do you remember that one? And just what does it mean to you? Are the players aware of how seismic history this is today?
Yeah, well, we retained it 2 years ago, so I think it's the first time we won back-to-backs. Yeah, and look, this team have done really well in this fixture. I think we've had the trophy 4 times out of the last 5, so it's a game that we not just get up for, but we know we deliver close to our best rugby. Now today wasn't close to our best rugby, but I think the standards we've set are much higher than they were a few years ago. So yeah, it's great. I think it's obviously very good for our team, but our team are on a 5-game journey here for this championship, and we know it's just the first game. For our people, it means the world to them. I remember in 2000 when we'd lost every game in the championship, winning the last one against England made the season, or made people's years, rather than if we'd won 3 or 4 games that season. So we know how much this means to our supporters and the whole nation. So it's great that we can start with a win for them, but we've got 4 more games now. If we want to deliver something special, we've got to play really well next week.